Hi, my name is Peter, owner of Tilrat Web Design. In today's video, I'm going to discuss some of the small details that go into the design of a web page. Those little stylings that individually don't do much, but collectively come together to make your elements, your page, and your site look great. So with that introduction, let's get started. Once again, we'll be using the CodePen app from codepen.io, and for today's video I've set up two identical divs. Both have an H3, a paragraph, and a button. So that first one is going to serve as our before, and the second one as our after to show you the effects of these changes that we make. So that second card, we're going to give it specific class names, card2 text, and card2 paragraph. And then to make our things go a little more quickly and smoothly, I have pre-filled in some of the CSS panel here, and then we will be changing those stylings. So the first thing I want to show you is the effect of changing the padding around the text. Notice on the left, our panel looks all tight up against the sides and the top. So down here in our CSS for our card 2, all we have to enter is padding 20 pixels, and it gives it 20 pixel space all around, and look how much better it looks already. Another styling change we want to make is with the margins. We want to put a little distance between that H3 heading and the text and the Read More button below. So we'll go over to our CSS and our H3 card2.text. We'll put margin bottom, give it a value of 15 pixels, and you see that separation already. We'll do the same thing with our button below. In this case, we'll type in card2 button, margin top, 15 pixels, and again you see that nice looking separation to make things look better. Another styling change we can make is with the alignment and the justification of the text. This isn't always needed, but sometimes it can have a nice effect on how things look. So to do this, I'll just show you. We'll go up to our card 2. We'll call that a display of flex, but notice how everything goes side by side like that, so we have to adjust that and make it flex direction column, and then that's back to how we want it. Then we use align items, center, and justify content, center, and our text and button look nicely symmetrical. Another small styling detail that you probably never notice is adjustments to the line height of our text paragraph. So look how everything is kind of tight, a little hard to read. So if we go down here, we'll just put it a line height. Let's assign it something a little bit wider, such as in this example, 22 pixels. You see how our text lines separate and make it more readable. Another styling detail that is completely optional, but I wanted to bring it to your attention, is with the letter styling. So in this example, I want to talk about the first letter selector, which I've already put here in our CSS. You can address the first letter of a paragraph. So here we'll just adjust our font size, make it slightly larger, and we can put the color as red, and you'll see how it's just a small little thing, but it can add this extra little piece of style to your paragraph. Next is a small detail you've probably never noticed or paid attention to, and that is the border radius. And what this is it used to round off the corners of elements. So notice how we have sharp corners on these cards. We'll go down here to a card 2. We'll put border radius, and all we have to do is put a small amount. So we'll put 10 pixels, and notice the slight rounding to the corners, and it just looks a little bit better. Another small design detail that can be used to great effect is the addition of box shadows. So I'll show you what that looks like with our card 2 here. The values we enter are our X displacement, Y displacement, our blur value, and the color of our shadow. So in this example, we use 10 pixels, 5 pixels, a 4 pixel blur, and we'll use an RGBA value of 0, 0, 0, and 0.6. And you see that shadow that makes it look like the card is lifted up off the page a little bit. And yet another small detail is the styling of the buttons. So you'll see in our example here, we do have a button and it's in the center, but it could look a lot better. So one thing you can do is first adjust the padding between the text and the edges of the button. So we'll just add 5 pixels so it looks better already. Then you could style that with some background color, make it red, and change the font so it stands out, make that white. Now you'll see buttons have this default border, so we want to get rid of that. We'll just put border none. And then we have a styled button. And as I just shown previously, we can round off those corners, so let's just give it a 5 pixel border radius. And that leads right into the next small design detail I want to talk about is the hover effects, which occurs when you put your mouse pointer over the Read More button. So to show this, I want to first put some additional styling, default styling on that button. So we'll give it a box shadow. And then when we hover over it, we want to make that box shadow a little less spread and a little darker. So we'll make these changes here. And another small thing we can do is also translate it just a pixel or two, and it'll look like you're actually pressing down on that button. So it's probably a little detail you've never noticed, but you're just so used to. And then that leads us right into our final small design detail I'll talk about, which is the cursor itself. Notice how we hover over that button now. It's still that pointer, but that's not happens on most websites you visit. We'll come over here and we'll change that cursor to pointer, and then you'll see how it changes into this finger-like thing, indicating that that button can be pressed. May not have noticed that, but just these small details all add up. So in conclusion, let's look at our two cards. Our card on the left, pretty ugly. Our card on the right, the result of our few changes that we've made in this video. So you can take these ideas and use them on your own designs, but also keep in mind there's a lot more than this. I've just scratched the surface of all these small little things that you've never noticed, but they add up, make a beautiful design. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.